What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Real Rundown, here with Pedro and Scott. Actually, we haven't seen these guys in a minute just because... What happened last week? I had to cancel? Somebody canceled.
I think it
Oh, it
was.
was the Knicks game that was on.
Yeah, I was
And
also working during that time too. So
I did those. I must say, I did all this research and I was ready, but I don't really know what happened to everyone else. But I was ready. But I'm even more ready.
you can go over that now. It's none of the stuff we do is sort of new, breaking news. So the content is always evergreen. But Pedro, you mentioned that taking the extended break was good because you wanted to catch up on some shows. What have you been getting into?
yeah, I started watching season 2 of Blind Spotting, which is a show which I saw season 1 of last year.
Was that based on a movie?
It was based on it's based on off the movie Blind Spotting. So it's just a
Okay.
continuation. It picks up where the movie left off. There were rumors that it was going to get canceled, that they weren't going to have a season 2, and then they announced season 2, and season 2 eventually came out. So, and it's a pretty unique show. I really like it. It's different. You know, it deals with the same themes as the movie. It follows this guy who's an Oakland native who kind of is always getting in trouble with the law. Deals with his partner and the child they have together, and just navigating sticky situations and stuff like that. But it's very unique because it breaks out into like musical numbers and spoken word poetry and some like dance scenes and stuff. So it's got a lot of like theater influence in it, and it has a lot of theater people, like Broadway people, that act on the show.
Also has Helen Hunt. Interesting.
Yeah, Helen Hunt plays the mom. But that was a pleasant surprise when she popped up randomly in season 1. Obviously, it must be hitting the right buttons and popular. They brought it back for a second season.
Yeah, I remember the movie was kind of an indie hit. I saw it in theaters. I think the main actor is in the show, right? The main guy from the film.
One of
He's
the
the
main,
same-
one of the 2 main actors from the movie is on the show. Yeah,
And what I was gonna say, what channel is that? But I guess
pretty sure season 1 was on Showtime for some reason. I'm thinking, but this season's on Stars. Maybe the first one was. That's how I'm watching it, through Stars on Hulu.
Stars is on Hulu. Okay, that feels like a Hulu show.
You can subscribe to Stars through Hulu. Disney wants a little bit of share of the money from Stars. Share the wealth, I guess.
Stars needs a proper home, man, because it kind of got left out of the streaming. I guess like the apps,
And
There's
they
a
have
lot-
like 10 different channels, like Stars Hits, Stars Encore, Stars.
You know what? If you go on your cable lineup, all the stars are aligned.
Yeah, like I remember when I had cable before, and it was like, like maybe like Cinemax had like 4 channels, Showtime had like 3 different channels for certain genres and stuff, but Stars went overboard. They have like they got to have like at least 10 channels, man. It's crazy.
And it's the same movies and categories played over and over and over again. I was watching. I know about that somewhat. I used to subscribe to Stars, but I was utilizing my Hulu free trial, so I was watching Pam and Tommy, which is it's about their hurdle with meeting each other in the 90s with the tabloids, and then all of a sudden, and then the rags to riches, and then Tommy Lee getting in fights with everyone, and then they had their pornographic video that they made, and allegedly how it was stolen from a safe because it was revenge from a contractor that Tommy Lee got annoyed at. It was it's a whole 8-part series, which it was kind of, the actress that played Pamela Anderson, it was hard to compare real life to the way it was portrayed because the actress looked so identical.
She looks identical to a young Pam Anderson.
Yes,
They did a great casting job because both of them look just like them, right? The actor that plays Tommy is, what's his name? Cooper?
the Seth Rogen played the contractor, and then Nick Offerman was in it. I think Lily James was the name of the actress that played Pamela Anderson, and then the Taylor Schilling, I believe is his name, was also in it as well.
How was so when did that happen? They were dating like late 90s, early 2000s, right? Just kind of like when the internet was kind of going mainstream.
That's
still-
that's the thing. So they're making a joke that porn necessarily was just as it started booming to being online instead of being on VHS tape. They were just like, they would sell VHS tapes, but then all of a sudden, no one. When the contractor was trying to do revenge, she was trying to sell it to all these video companies that create pornographic films. But the first thing they would say is that, do you have according to the way it's portrayed in the movie, they do have a release from both of them? And they would say, no, and they would say, like, get out of my office. And then they realized they can post it online, and then that's it. You can post your own. It was just at the breaking point of the internet becoming a thing. Even they were making a joke that both Pam and Tommy were trying to find the website, and they didn't have a computer. They had a computer in their home, but they didn't know how to use it. Someone else had.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty interesting part of the young age of the internet at that point, and how you sort of get this stuff out there. Because you say you made a pornographic home video, you want to get it out. I guess if you're this contractor guy, it's very difficult to monetize, but you can just blast it online. It's still going to get really limited reach back in the late 90s, early 2000s. But I guess it was the first sort of, sex tape to hit the internet, maybe.
Well, it was shared like crazy on the peer sharing, file sharing programs back then, right?
That's how I got it here.
The Napsters and the LimeWire, all those.
Yeah, I think so. They were mainly for smaller files because most people didn't have cable yet, so it's tough to download a video. But I think there was a couple of websites hosting it too, because back then the internet wasn't as concentrated as it is now, right? Every .com was its own sort of little universe. It wasn't, you didn't have the Google to sort of be the center of the universe, or Facebook. So it was just like random websites. And if you found the link through, some chat room, you were able to get it, and everybody with a internet connection was looking for it.
That's where they were focusing on. There was a time where we remember that in order to download an MP3 song, it took a whole evening, and it was like watching the seconds go by.
Yeah, it took like 35 minutes sometimes.
It's like, well, I get up in the morning, the song will be downloaded. Of course, legal, of course. We're talking about legal downloading, not anything else.
I've been watching a lot. I've been watching Swarm on Amazon. Swarm it's about a celebrity-obsessed girl who goes on a murder spree trying to, connect with this, I guess, like Beyonce kind of celebrity that she's obsessed with. But the filmmaking is really good. The storytelling is pretty wild. It's very like Jordan Peele / Gambino kind of Atlanta vibes. Definitely recommend that. I haven't finished it, but I think I'm close. I've watched like 6 episodes.
And Swarm is Donald Glover. It's not Jordan Peele, is it?
No, I just meant like in terms of like the vibe.
Stylistically,
yeah, inspired by. It feels just because of some of the scenes, the tension, the way they set up some of the scenes feels like a Jordan Peele movie. Some of the framing as well, and then
I'm a big fan of when Donald Glover gets weird.
Yeah. So
When
I
he
think
gets weird, man, it's
directed the
like
first episode.
it's really good stuff when he decides to get weird. So,
It's like the show is really grainy. It's not a 16:9 format. It's a different format. So you got the black bars on the side. It's just cool. It's just like I wish I could recall who the creators were, but it's just a good time. It's a little intense, but visually, and if you're just into something different, this is definitely it.
I just had a last minute viewing of I realized I had a free preview of MGM Plus or MGM channels, which is
That's
what
a thing too.
Huh?
MGM Plus.
Yes, I believe it's a rebrand of Epix, which was another premium channel that sort of was around, but it's sort of like a top kind of thing that no one really knows about. They did a series called
I mean, that free trial code.
Huh?
Send me that free trial code.
Hey, it's called having an online television cable subscription, and they sneak things in. You go, wait, I have this? Oh no, it expires tomorrow. I gotta watch it immediately before I go to bed at 1:00 in the morning. I watched 2 episodes of From, which is, I guess, a 2023 or 2022 type of Lost series where it's a supernatural thriller that a bus of newcomers, it's a family, comes to town, and you essentially have no escape. So they go around in circles and they realize they're stuck. And
that sounds awesome.
Odd people that come at night and they bang on their doors, and if they don't, and if someone opens the door, they get, eaten like vampires type of thing. So it's not gory in a way, but it is in the aftermath of it. And one of the characters that plays Boyd, his first name was Harold. He was in Lost as one of the main characters. So I would say it's odd because the town, it shows them if it's like in the 1970s, but then the family, it's as if they're in present day. It's very odd.
I see. I'm looking at the MGM page now. That is like the main show they're promoting. And the guy you're talking about, the main character, he used to play Michael on Lost.
Right. So they're currently in the middle of season 2, and they roll out the show on a weekly basis.
First 3 episodes are free. I guess. Do they have an app?
Of course, there's an app. There's an app, and then they have it available on Roku and all of the above, for the most part, I believe.
All right. I saw Super Mario Brothers a couple weeks ago with my nephew and niece. They gave it a 10 out of 10. It's good, man. I mean, I guess as a movie, as a story and a narrative, it doesn't really hold much weight, but it's just a good time. Seeing all those characters. Bowser is probably the standout character. He's Jack Black. Is just having a ball playing that guy. So not much to say. A lot's been said already about the movie. I'm sure you guys already heard everything. But yeah, recommend it. If you can go see it, go see it. It's like a crisp 90 minutes. So it's not these 2.5 hour epics that we're getting used to.
Do you give it a 10 out of 10?
No. It doesn't really like spend a lot of time like focused on story, to be honest. And if you think about it, like Super Mario doesn't really have a story, right? He's just a character saving a princess in most of the games, or other games he's a kart driver or a golf player, or he's kind of whatever you put him in. But you know what? It got me thinking too, like going to the movies. Movie theaters have been hit so hard with not just the pandemic, but after the pandemic, people didn't really go back to the cinema at all. But you're seeing folks go back now, and you're seeing a lot of content creators and platforms saying this is only going to be in theaters. Like Netflix is, I think they actually said they're not going to do theaters anymore, but a lot of studios are saying movies are only going to be in theaters now, and I think people have kind of started to started to feel better about going back to the cinema. What do you guys think?
Well, two movies in particular. I know I'm not trying to rush into what we're going to talk about, but two movies in particular that we talked about were A Knock at the Cabin, which very quickly went to Peacock.
Yeah.
And also, what was the other movie we were going to talk about? That also went to Peacock very quickly. What is it called?
Cocaine Bear. It's
That
next
went
on
to, right, to
our
Peacock
agenda for the next one.
within a month or two. So if they really want people to rush to theaters, why so soon?
I think it's because those movies are not big mainstream films. Like, A Knock at the Door, for example, is a very niche audience. I think it's not a broad audience like an Ant-Man or like a romantic comedy, which I guess doesn't really exist anymore. But so if you leave Knock at the Cabin in theaters for 2 months, that's a good amount of time to generate some revenue there, and then you can put it on streaming. I think that's fine. I don't think the model is let's keep a 4-month run at the theater and then a 6-month break where the movie doesn't exist anywhere and then release it digitally. I think it's the windows for the movies are shorter because movies don't have the same legs that they used to, and then they just distribute them on their platforms because that's where people are watching most of the stuff. But if you're releasing like The Flash, which we're going to talk about, the new trailer just came out, that's going to be in theaters for months. That's not going to be something that drops on HBO Max 2 months after cinema release, I don't think. I think those big boys, they're going to sort of milk them. And it also has to do with an experience, right? I watched Cocaine Bear on my couch. Half the time I was on my phone. The movie experience is a little different.
Yeah, it seems to me like, I don't know, it just seems to me like a lot of, or almost all movies are coming out in movie theaters, but they're just leaving theaters sooner than they have been in the past. Like you said, just because the quality of movies is just down after 2020, they just don't have the legs to stay in movie theaters anymore. So it's like, let's just get it on the app after 2 weeks,
Yeah, and I think what happened during COVID was a lot of studios paused. They put a lot of movies on hold because they didn't want to put them on streaming where they were just going to lose a bunch of money. So they were like, okay, we'll just hold. We'll wait till people start buying back, and then we'll release the films. And also, I think a lot of movies weren't being made. So then you have that gap of stuff that wasn't really being made I think we're past that now because now you're seeing a lot of stuff come out. But I think it's okay to go to streaming services faster. I just think that the numbers of people going to theaters is probably never going to go back to what it was. And I think it's been in decline for a long time, but I think it is kind of going up a little bit. And you're seeing like, what was that movie service? Movie Pass, saying they're coming back with a service. So if they might come back, not that these guys are any indicator of success because their last business was a complete disaster, but if they're coming back, maybe they have some inside info, or at least they're betting on movie theaters being relevant, right?
Yeah, they're pleasing both sides. They're releasing in theaters for the people that want to go and have the experience, and then they're bringing movies quickly to on demand and streaming for the people that just want to chill at home and watch movies.
Yeah,
everybody wins, in my opinion.
Cocaine Bear. I watched it last night. Scott, what did you think of Cocaine Bear?
Well, I thought we were going to watch that next week. I haven't watched it yet.
God damn it! What? You didn't watch it?
I just mentioned it yesterday. How was we supposed to watch it in one day?
Well, I crunched it. I was lucky because my wife had plans. She went out, so I was like, all right, I'll just watch Cocaine Bear.
I crunched the extent I could withstand.
Yeah, I mentioned it. I mentioned it for the next pod.
Did you watch it, Scott?
As I said, I crunched the amount I could withstand watching. Well, I would say I thought that the bear was a little too aggressive too fast. I was maybe thinking that the bear would be a little more comical than as if he had a very difficult day. He had rabies and flipping out at anything he saw that was breathing. And climbing trees and insanely. And everyone was like running around as if it was like Godzilla the bear. But at least Godzilla was nice. Somewhat along.
I guess he was a good guy. They tried to make the bear a good guy, sympathetic at the end. Yeah, this movie, when it came out, like, I wasn't really amused by it. I wasn't amused by the concept. It's just, like, I'm not the audience for this kind of stuff. It's just all very silly and, like, I don't know. It was fine. Like, it was fine. I was on my phone most of the time. Anytime there was, like, a little, like, bear chewing somebody's face off, I would look up. I followed the plot. But the set was just, like, I felt like they found, like, a lot of land in the woods, and they just, like, maximized as many shots as they could within, like, 200 yards. Right? They shot, like, every scene was just, like, around the corner from the last scene. Yeah, I don't know. It was fine. It didn't really do anything for me. The bear, sometimes the CGI was bad at times. I didn't think it was horrible, but at times he didn't look like a bear. He looked more like a wolf. When he was like trying to climb trees, I was like, bears don't move that way. And it was like sped up. But the death scenes, and I guess that was cool. It was kind of like a monster movie, but with like a bear. That's what it was.
I was lost when I saw those scenes. When you were looking up, I was looking down because it didn't look realistic, nor that I really wanted to look realistic anyway. And then where I went, I'm done, and I said, I'm done out loud, just no one heard me, is when Jesse Tyler Ferguson, I think he was hanging upside down screaming, and then he saw remnants of things falling of himself, and he saw all this blood. I'm like, okay, it's a little too traumatic, and he's a little too, like, hyperly yelling. He would probably be screaming much more aggressively, and it was completely dragged out to be uncalled for, and it was a matter of time until he was going to be. I think he had cocaine on his body, I think, and then...
You stopped watching the movie there?
Yeah. That's right. Yes. Were you surprised that I stopped there, or should I kept going?
No, I mean, I am surprised you didn't finish it, I guess. But,
and this is in the style of like scary movie, right? Where they just bring out like actual actors, well-known actors throughout the movie.
It kind of, like, not in the same way. Like, all the actors, like Kerry Russell stars as like the mom, but she's like almost in a different movie because she's like very serious and just looking for her kid the whole movie, and everyone else is kind of like an idiot. And then you have like the goofy foreigner, like you have like the guy Scott was talking about. I don't even know what he is, but he was like hanging out with the park ranger, and they're both idiots. The two like EMTs show up at one point. That was actually a good scene, Scott. You missed that one. The two EMTs get called, and that's a good, like, it's like a ambulance. It's like a car chase, but the bear is chasing the ambulance. The back doors are swung open, and there's like the
fire
park
chief
ranger. She's like trying to shoot the bear. It's a weird. Everyone
has terrible aim in that film. They can't shoot the thing. I'll skip through it. So I'll go back and I'll skip through it to get to that part.
How far into the movie does the bear do cocaine?
Right away. Yeah, they don't waste time.
That's how you got to start it off and just take it from there.
You should watch it and give us your review next week.
I will. I'm definitely going to check it out.
Yeah. Again, it's
I'll
short.
Be watching on 1.5x.
Yeah. There are like one or two really cool death scenes. My favorite was the park ranger.
I mean, I'm personally a fan of B movies and B slasher horror movies, so
yeah, this is kind of that. It's not scary.
Type of stuff is tolerable for me, where it may not be for a lot of people, but I I'm a fan of B movies, so
This was not gory. This was not gory in any way. It was more comically portrayed.
yeah, this is oriented towards like.
I mean,
So-
Scott, you only saw half of it. It does get much worse.
Oh, good. Well, as you
The
said,
scene,
I would
the
never
scene-
use the phrase "cool death scene." I will never say that phrase.
Okay. Yeah, it was just creative.
We'll put
Look,
it
when
that
you're
way.
gonna kill like 15 of your cast members, you got to get creative, right?
Never seen a cool death scene? Never been inspired by a cool death
No,
scene?
I can never say I was inspired by a cool death scene. I can't say so. You never know. Maybe I will eventually. I haven't seen that film or anything documented in that way where I would say.
All right,
There's
well,
always a chance.
we gotta quench your palate a little bit.
I'm open to ideas.
So yeah, that's Cocaine Bear. Watch it. Let us know what you think. I want to bring up. We discussed it earlier, and then we jumped into something else. I don't know if you guys want to talk about the Amazon Audio thing. If you have strong opinions, if not, totally
I
fine.
do. I do.
Go for it. So give us the headline first. Like what's happening?
Okay. So it was presented to me that Amazon Prime has decided that they are implementing a new feature that will help actually you hearing the dialogue. And as part of it, as far as the settings, it gives you an option to not only pick subtitles, but you could also select different audio settings.
Okay, so if you're watching a movie at home that has big explosions and low dialogue, this thing sort of auto controls for that and balances the audio.
Right. It isolates the speech patterns to enhance the audio, making the words sound clear and crisper versus the sound effects, as I guess it was intended by the sound mixer.
Scott, is this something that's out already?
It's
I
out.
think
It's on a
it's-
limited number of Amazon originals, which is why I haven't actually reviewed it myself.
It's on a limited. It's on a
'cause
limited
I'm
amount of
not
shows.
watching any of that stuff.
Shows and some films. It's not on everything.
All
But
right,
they're
Scott,
down
why don't
released.
you watch one of these shows, watch a couple episodes next week, give us your thoughts. Because you think
All
this
right.
is disrespectful to the original audio mixing team.
Yes, it seems like it's their IT or developers they're coming up with an idea that they're releasing to solve a problem that may not exist. And
It does exist.
well, it's something that may exist due to the fact of it was as far as this comes down to the standard. What standards are there the way something should be put together, and that's what's released. This is creating 3 different versions of something, and how is someone intended supposed to? So it comes down to if someone gets an award for best sound mixing, which version are they getting an award for? The 3 AI versions or the original?
Well, the original. I mean, it's like saying like people shouldn't watch movies on their cell phone. Like, yeah, it wasn't intended for that, but people still do. Few people,
Well, you're
but
still watching the version you're still watching the same version, whether it's on your phone or your big screen TV. It's the same version. That you're not using AI to modify the story or the way it looks.
fair. I just think that I've watched a lot of movies late at night when I need to keep it down, and I'm trying to keep it down, but then I can't hear the dude saying anything. And then when I bump up the audio, there's like a gunfight or an explosion or a car chase scene, and then I gotta like search for the remote real quick to lower it so I don't wake up my wife or whoever. So I do get it.
You gotta use headphones, man. I use headphones after 9:00.
Hey, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing watching something with explosions in the middle of the night. That's not going to make me fall asleep easily.
No, but you want to watch something at your leisure, no? But my point is that happens in movies, and not every sound mixer is a master at their craft. Some of them don't do a great job. Not to put anybody on blast, but I think it's a common problem that most people appreciate having a solution for, Am I gonna opt in? I might sometimes. If I'm watching a Scorsese movie, no. Like, give me the raw as intended. If I'm watching some bootleg Netflix action movie, yeah, I might check it out. But I think it's fine.
If I'm watching something, I'll turn off. I have the 5.1, and that's really why it's mixed a certain way, because it's going on all the isolated tracks. So if I'm watching something late at night, it's a luxury. I just turn off my back speakers, so I'm not hearing it everywhere. Or if I really want to hear it, I'll put something over the subwoofer or disconnect it so I don't hear the boom, boom, boom. It'll wake everyone up.
Right. Your neighbors must love that.
No, I have a rug floor. I have a rug, so it's pretty soundproof in a way.
Well, I appreciate that they are giving us this option, and I'm sure it'll get better as they continue to tweak it.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll get to a point where it'll be almost like instant, where you can switch it, and it'll just be seamless instead of like having to pause the movie, go through a menu, and all that. So it's welcome, man, because it's an ongoing issue. It's an ongoing issue. This is why so many people watch stuff with subtitles now, because it's just the audio quality is horrible nowadays with all the streaming and compression that goes on. So,
and let me end it this way: I'm the same person that loves watching Netflix on my computer and watching everything at 1.25 speed, which is not the way it's intended to be watched anyway. Watching it, depending on what it is, because specifically reality shows, I don't want to hear them talk so slowly, so I will speed it up.
Just fucking downloading that right into the dome.
So you can't do that on my TV, but I'm complaining about what something sounds like, but then some show has to watch, it beyond speed. So let me just leave it at that, just to confuse everyone.
Yeah, I guess the worst part of this is that you have to watch an Amazon produced show to have to check it out.
Wow, I felt that. That was really neat. Anyway, continue.
That's the reason why I haven't tested it out.
Yeah.
Roasting the Amazon Prime.
We're running out of time. I just want to see if you guys, what you guys thought of the new Flash trailer that just dropped. What you think of the movie overall. Pedro, I know you got your eye on this one.
Yeah, no, the trailer looks good, man. As you know, I'm not a fan of DC. Their movies have been really bad in the past, in my opinion, but this looks interesting. This is definitely, and if this is the first one of this new, era that they're going through, and looks like I'm gonna check it out. I was real surprised when Michael Keaton popped up in the trailer. Like that alone is gonna bring some people out,
Yeah, that brings the OGs out. That brings the dads. Dads are coming out. I know we've been bashing like superhero movies here recently. What was it about this trailer that was like, oh, I think I want to see that, versus like Ant-Man or the new Miss Marvel or the Samuel Jackson show? What was it about this one? Those guys don't.
This one in particular just had that feel-good trailer feel that I haven't gotten from movies in a while, and definitely not from superhero movies or comic book movies. So it just had that feeling, It had action, it had surprises. Like I said, Michael Keaton pops up. It was a trailer that makes it look like the movie's gonna be good. Whether the movie's good or not, that depends. It has that big trailer, big movie feel to it. So.
I'm watching it now on mute again. And yeah, I think part of it is, it's a little bit of a nostalgia hit. They brought Keaton back to play Batman.
Brought Ben Affleck back too, right? He was in the
yeah. They got Ben Affleck.
He put Flash at 1 point, didn't he? Back in like the early 2000s, was he? Did he play the Flash?
Nah, he played Daredevil.
Oh, my bad. Yes, correct.
But I think DC was making these really dark superhero movies where like tonally they were just very serious, and Marvel was like more animated fun, more of a hang, good hang. And now I think that style has kind of just worn out a little bit, and overdone, because all the characters kind of have the similar personalities. They're all like kind of like sarcastic and funny and in moments of danger and all that, very colorful. This one kind of feels a little bit more grounded. And maybe that's part of the reason why tonally people are just more acceptant of it too. It does look very polished. The trailer, everything, like the action, the set pieces, everything looks really sharp. But I'm wondering if people like
you can only go up from the previous DC movies. So anything that's like slightly good is gonna look even better compared to what they had.
I'm just ready for something new, something that's not superhero or people being, something that's original, an original story, not based on something else.
Tough luck with that, Scott, because everything is based off comics or graphic novels or books now.
Where's that original idea that used to come about? Original is no longer original anymore.
Not in Hollywood anymore, I'll tell you that much. All right, if we have time, I wanna just go in on Knock at the Cabin real quick.
Oh snap! Okay, go for it.
So, I did watch it. When I had originally watched the trailer, I was kind of excited because the last M. Night Shyamalan movie I saw, which was Old, I liked. And the concept for this one seemed interesting. M. Night Shyamalan movies are always hit or miss. This one was definitely a miss for me. Nothing of substance there. Nothing. I had to parts because it got so bad that I just had to stop it like halfway. There weren't really any real moments of like tension or like, excitement or anything. I could only think of two. One of them was towards the beginning of the movie when these outsiders sort of break into the cabin, and the other one was when one of the two guys that was being held captive like escapes and runs to his car to get his gun, and then ends up shooting one of these outside people. I have no idea what they were trying to do by representing the Four Horsemen as these people, and
right.
The whole concept of the movie is: are they telling the truth or are they lying? In order to just make these people try to hurt each other, that they're holding hostage, and it turns out that they were telling the truth. So there was no real like twist or turn in the movie or anything. So,
well, I think to me that was the twist. That there was something going on, right? Because you confronted with these people who, invade your personal space. They tie you up, make you listen to these crazy theories. They insist that they're not there to hurt you, but they give you this ultimatum where you either kill one person in the house, or these things are going to start happening around the world, the end of humanity, ultimately. And they kind of allude to this a few times in the film where, like, they say, oh, you guys met on a message board and things like that. And I think that plays to the world of like conspiracy theories that we live in today, like QAnon. Like those people really believe that certain people are pedophiles or they're lizards or whatever they believe. So I did like that parallel. Like, you assume these people are crazy because they're talking about something that you would otherwise find just very dismissive. And we do. Going into the film, obviously you're like, obviously there's no end to the world because I'm a rational person and that doesn't happen. So when it did happen, I was actually surprised they actually went through with that ending.
Yeah, see, with me, I kind of understood it the reverse. I see I see how you understood it, but I think with me is because I figured out so early in the movie that they were representing the Four Horsemen just because of like what they were holding and that there were four of them. That kind of led me to believe from the beginning of the movie that they are telling the truth. So it was kind of anticlimactic for me at the end when it was like, okay, well, they're just telling the truth. And I had figured that out like way early on in the movie. But if you were going by the fact that, they're just breaking into these people's house and trying to like play games with them, then.
No, I wasn't like they're playing games. I believed that they believed they were doing the right thing. I just didn't think the right thing was real. That's all. But I agree with you that during that time that they're in the home, it is too slow. It's a little slow. As much as I enjoy watching Dave Bautista and his like tiny glasses and tiny shirt tower over everybody, I wasn't never like, I didn't ever really fear him because I believed sincerely that his character was trying to do good. So with that, it kind of makes the story a little less tense. So it did drag a little bit. But yeah, Scott, did you see it?
Yes, I did. I thought the movie was quite good. It kept my attention throughout. Which was, I'm sure you're surprised. I did think that's in between all the various killings. It did take a while in between. But there were things that stood out to me as an example. There was footage of this Oregon tidal wave that was shot moments ago, and how the newsroom got into the camera operator and the camera itself. And you would think that they would have perished, but all of a sudden they have this footage as like it's coming towards them, and the live footage would have been transmitted into film. But how would they get the footage? There's like little things like that. It's like, how are they getting footage of these things if everyone in the area was dead? And like they show the footage.
Yeah, I was thinking the same.
You always got the nitpicks.
Yeah, you know, hey, you want me to have that role here? I gotta like take it there. But overall, I thought it was there was good character development, and it kept me watching throughout. But I think it was kind of predictable how it was going to end, but it allowed me to continue on to see it to the end.
Yeah. And that's what's great about his movies. You got 3 different people, 3 different opinions on it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, his movies are very hit or miss with different people depending on who you ask. But
and Dave Bautista again, you know, was the highlight of the movie.
Yeah.
Guy just on a roll, man. Like he could do no wrong right now. His agent is getting him the right roles, and just plays the right characters all the time. Most of the times.
I'm always rooting for that guy. You know, the first time I saw him in that short film from Blade Runner, I don't know if you guys saw that. No, it wasn't. He did a short film, but he was also in the actual movie.
He was in the movie too. Yeah, he was in the promotional shorts that were leading up to the release of the movie too.
Yeah, he was great. All right, we're long. I'm gonna have to edit this whole thing down, so I gotta cut us, guys. Let's try to meet up again next week if we can. We'll do another episode. That'll be episode 8. We'll figure out what we'll talk about. Pedro, you got to watch Cocaine Bear. Let us know what you think about that, and then we'll sort of text throughout the week and see what else we can watch.
See you next time.
And sorry to Matt Damon and Rihanna.
All right, later, guys.